Hey guys, welcome to Photo. Gonna give you another Lightroom tutorial. Give you some more insight on how to use some of these tools in Lightroom. It's a very stripped down version of Lightroom. That's why most of it's free. But it does give you some very powerful tools for photo editing. So I just brought this picture into Lightroom. This was a shot we had to do pretty fast. It was right before cocktail hour. The bride and groom really wanted to see their guests. So I put them out in this dock and had them just walk back to shore, and I really didn't have a lot of time to compose it, or, my exposure is a little under here, but I did get a cool sky. And this is definitely something that you can work with. That's what's great about post-production. So there's a couple things I know I want to do with this image, and they're going to be more finite adjustments. They're not going to be overall brightness adjustments or anything like that. So first thing I'm going to do though is put my preset on it. So go into my presets here. I have a saved preset WP no grain. I'm going to put that on. That's going to brighten it up a bit, warm it up a bit. I like warmth in my photographs. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just start going to work on these little things that I want to change. First things first, I want to get rid of these drinks right here. So this is retouching. We're going to use the healing brush tool. I'm going to grab the little band-aid over here. And there's only three options: size, feather, and opacity. Size is the size. If you move it up and down, that little brush circle is going to be bigger or smaller. Feather is important. If you turn the feather all the way down, you're going to get a real hard edge. It's kind of like the hardness of a brush in Photoshop. If I turn it all the way up, it's going to get a real soft edge. This has everything to do with how it's going to blend your selection with what it's replacing your selection with. So in this case, I'm going to select the drinks, and I'm going to replace it with another spot of this dock. So this is fine. We can adjust these if we don't like it. I always keep the feather a little bit above half, though, not below. I'm going to put it on like 70-ish. There we go. I'm going to just, with my finger, just paint over here. And if you have an Apple Pencil, you can use that too. Now, one thing I can tell you is, so once it does that, all right, Lightroom is going to move somewhere that it thinks is going to be great or good for, replacing your original. So I can still see the drinks. That's not what I wanted, right? So I'm going to play with the feather. That means I just have too much feather on there. So I'm going to turn the feather down. You're going to see it start to take the edges away. Okay. So I can't see the drinks anymore, but the selection that I made is not perfect. The lines are a little wonky. I don't think anyone's going to be able to tell, but I'm going to take the destination, the one that Lightroom made, and I'm going to move it. I'm going to bring it over here next to where my drinks were, and I'm going to try to line it up with the lines as best I can. Now, just because of, perspective, the lines, the boards are probably going to be a little further apart as they go down. But I think that's okay. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to zoom out. Now that one little spot's kind of bothering me, that bright spot right there. So I'm going to come back in here, and I'm just going to do that spot now. Same deal. I'm going to just move that over. Hit done. Alright, cool. I'm going to zoom out of that. Doesn't really, if I hit before, after, before, there's a little shadow in that area, but I'm actually going to mess with the dock in a little bit too, and we're not going to even know that happened. Second thing I want to show you is it's a gradated adjustment. I'm going to hit the button over on the right side. It's a little circle there. It's for selective edits. I'm going to hit the plus sign on the top left, and then I'm going to get the graduated selection tool. Now, with the graduated selection tool, what it does is it allows me to, I'm taking my finger, I'm putting it above the picture, and I'm just going to drag it down. Now, all that red is what's going to be changed in my image. I'm going to stop right above the couple's heads. And notice that it feathers, or there's a gradient. Notice that it's redder on the top near the leaves, and then it kind of fades, which is really nice because it makes the adjustment that you make look more believable. If the adjustment, like if you made the sky darker and it just stopped, like there was just a line there and the darkness stopped there, it wouldn't look great or believable. But in this case, it will. So I'm going to go into light, and I'm going to turn the exposure down. And as soon as you move one of the sliders, that red area indicating where your selection is or what you're making an adjustment on will actually disappear, so you can see how it affects your picture. So I'm just going to turn down the exposure. See, it's bringing down the sky, and I do want to darken up those leaves a little bit. I'm going to bring the highlights down too, because that's what the sky is. There's a lot of highlights in those clouds. And I can even go into the color here, and I can like totally mess around with how blue I want it to be, or how saturated I want it to be. So let me bring it into this blue realm and then turn the saturation up. That's pretty cool. Now, when you do that, no, unfortunately, I'm going to get a little blue in the leaves, but I don't think anyone's going to notice. So now I've made that sky a little more interesting. So now I'm going to zoom in a bit to the couple, and before I work on them, and as you zoom in like this, they get a bit grainy. You can see the kind of dots on them. I'm going to take that, my healing brush again, and I'm going to make it just about as big as that boat back there. Maybe a little smaller. I think this is going to be tricky because it's real close to that guy's head. So I'm going to zoom in pretty close. Oop, might be a little too much there. Let's go back. Actually, that's going to be okay. I think everything's going to be fine, guys. See, the problem with the feather, if you turn the feather down, it's going to put a big bright spot in the water there, and we don't want that. So let's go back. And we're going to go in there, same thing, I'm going to turn the feather up a little bit, and turn the size up a little bit, feathers up. Getting a little of his hair, but I think it's going to be alright. So I'm going to move the destination up a little bit, and then we'll hit done. Alright, cool. There's still a little dot there. I don't think anybody's going to see it, to be honest, once you zoom out. So that gets rid of that. I'm going to take out that little marker there. You might get, once you start retouching things, you might just start retouching a lot. Alright, there that goes. Okay, and now I'm going to do another selective edit. I'm not going to use the graduated one that kind of made the gradient, but I'm going to select that little circle again. I'm going to go to the plus sign, and I'm going to grab that paintbrush. And the paintbrush has a couple options. I can tap on the top one, and that's going to be your size. You can just slide your finger up and down on the screen to adjust the size. It takes a little bit to get used to. I'm going to make it about that size. The second one is the feather, same deal. If I turn it all the way down, it turns into that hard circle, turn it all the way up. There's a lot of fading happening. I'm going to keep it right around 70, and then I'm just going to kind of paint them in. Now you can, really take your time with this if you really want the selection to be good. But because they're so far away in this picture, I'm not going to work too much on making this perfect. I just wanted to bring the lightness of them up a little bit. So I can bring that up in the exposure just a little bit. That's going to be better. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to zoom out. Alright, so now already they're a bit better in there, right? So let's just see what we got so far. I'm going to tap and hold the screen. If you tap and hold the picture in Lightroom, alright, it's going to give you the before. So there's the before, there's the after. Before, after. And that's pretty nice. I probably will work on the dock a little bit, just something very simple. Another paintbrush, and just I can just paint this in here. And it doesn't need to be just exposure. You can go into detail or even effects like wood. If you turn the texture up on wood and clarity, it gives it like a real cool gritty effect that I like. So again, before, after, before, after.